So there's a car we need to talk about. Turbo Bullitt, and why we haven't driven it in so long. You guys saw that back in November. We actually had this car run its best pass it's ever done. That was a 10.7 at 127. So you guys saw that it ran the best pass it's ever ran. Is a 10.7 at 127, preparing for Mod Nationals. Okay guys, the GoPro just failed me, but I need to get my reaction. The car just went 10.7 at 127. Went out to Mod Nationals, completely flopped. We only ran a 10.9 pass once.
Still ran a 10.9, hell yeah.
We just had some issues with shifting, so the clutch was slipping a little bit, and then the very last pass, which was a 10.9 at 125 or something like that, we had some oil coming up from the engine bay. Was it smoking?
Yeah. A little bit. You got something leaking in your K member.
So I've looked at it and I'm pretty positive we have a leaking valve cover gasket. So we're gonna go ahead and get started and try to swap that out here real quick. Hopefully I can get my hands in there. It's been a while since I've done a 2-valve valve cover in the car, but it shouldn't be too bad. So we're just gonna have to get started clearing the charge pipe out, and yeah, just getting access to there, and it shouldn't be too bad. And we did go ahead and already pick up a Felpro gasket set. We're only gonna be replacing one side. I don't think it's necessary to do both sides right now. Yeah, man. I also have a boost controller we could put on this. Probably not a good idea though. Alright, so these look like, what are these, 8 mils or 10 mils? I can't remember. That should have been leaking. See how loose it was? I didn't even have to break it loose. These are always fun to get out of here. Well, for once we can actually see our unsealed stock motor. Or sealed stock. Stock sealed? Is that what people say? Yep. Alright, so judging by the fact that the valve cover seal didn't even stay with the valve cover, and the seal, it basically wasn't even sealed. And you can see that this one down here, if Matt points the camera over here, you can see how this one was just kind of flopped right down here. So my guess is that that was indeed the problem. I mean, there's nowhere else that oil can leak down here onto the manifold. We're just gonna pull the seal out, and we can get a look at our good old stock 2-valve. Oh, you see that? It's got valve springs, dude. Dude, it's got comp cams? Just kidding.
Okay. What are we doing?
Thinking about replacing the bolt seals. Just trying to figure out how they come out. Yeah, looks like I just gotta kind of push them out.
Where'd it go?
Alright, so we just went ahead and replaced all of the bolt hole seals. I sprayed out the inside here with brake cleaner. I've been having a little bit of issues getting the gasket on because it's almost like too long. We've pretty much finally gotten it seated in here, but it's going to be a pain to try to keep this seated properly and finagle it into the car. That's kind of the issue we're going to be coming across. So just trying to make sure this is firmly in all places. We're going to put a little RTV here and here. Well, I'll actually put it on the block and the timing cover down there for the different surface. That's pretty much standard practice. I believe it's even in the Ford manual. And hopefully this gasket will stay on, it'll seal, and we never have another issue. Alright guys, so I got everything back together, and I'm pretty positive it was leaking oil, but we are getting a considerable amount of coolant or water leaking down onto the exhaust, and it's not coming from the two heater hoses here. So I'm a little stumped as to what it's gonna be. I'm trying to think. I mean, the only thing back there would be a freeze plug or head gasket, but both of those, I mean, an external leak on a head gasket is extremely rare. So I'm trying to figure out. I know 2-valves usually have a coolant line that runs underneath the car, so maybe that could be it. I'm gonna look it up online and hopefully I can figure out, you know, where the coolant could be coming from. Alright guys, so it is now the next day, and well, comment down below if you know what these are for, and maybe you have already guessed the problem. So I researched it a little bit, and the hole that the water's coming out on the bottom of the firewall is actually the AC drain hole. Now the interesting thing is, well, if there's a lot of AC condensation, like if we had been running the car a lot, it's possible it could leak out there. Other possibility is when we have a bad heater core. Leaking heater core will leak into the AC drain and then lead on to the manifold. So that appears to be our problem. We are going to be bypassing the heater core. Now, it's not the right way to fix this, but it is not necessarily the wrong way. Hear me out, because we are in Florida. It is pretty hot. This car is primarily a race car too for me, so not having heat is no big deal. We'll actually still have AC, which is actually much more necessary. So it's actually really simple. We're going to take those two heater core lines off, put a 5/8 hose fitting and 2 clamps on it, and we should be good to go, guys. Alright, so I actually didn't even end up using the new fittings. There was someone added like a fill thing kind of to the back here, I'm assuming to make it easier to bleed the system or burp the system. But I just ended up looping it from over there to there, and that's about it. Hopefully there isn't any high spots, and we should be able to get the car burped pretty well here in just a second. Alright guys, so it's been a while, but we're driving the Bullitt. I got the coolant system burped as much as I think. Looks like we're holding a nice 182. Now, we have been having a heater core issue for a while, because when I actually got on the gas, I could smell a little bit of coolant in the cabin with the AC on. So it's gonna actually be nice to finally have that fixed. Obviously, the only downside is we're not gonna have heat. So as far as I should remember, the car has 110 in the tank, so we should be good to rip on it. Yeah, she spins. Wow. Spun a lot on that hit. Bad, gotta blow out the cobwebs, build a little boost. Alright, so after our test drive, I'm gonna wash off the car. We got some Patterson car care Hyper Mint wash. David sent some out to me a little while ago to try out. Usually works pretty mint, pun intended. Ashley's driving the S550. I'm going to take the Bullitt. I'm going to go over to the meet. Ready for the cold start. We got the Bullitt all clean. So we made it to the meet, probably leaving it, wrapping it up, but the Bullitt looks good and it is back. I think it still needs a clutch, but we'll make it happen. I really forgot how awesome this car is. It's just such a cool car, guys. I'll give you guys a little bit of pull here. First gear. This thing rips skis. Oh my god. Oh man. We needed some new tires in the rear. We got Ashley up there. Headed home, guys. This car is so much fun. Oh man. Definitely missed the Bullitt. She rips hard. Here's a little brake boost. Pulling the race cars in. Made it.